In a distant village, nestled amidst the serenity of lush green fields, there lived a man whose name had become synonymous with insatiable greed. His every action, his every thought revolved around the relentless pursuit of wealth. The boundaries of morality held no sway over him. He would do anything to accumulate riches, even if it meant trampling upon the lives and dreams of others. This type of person, driven solely by material desires, represented the very essence of attachment, and his insatiable greed sowed suffering, not just for himself, but for all those who crossed his path. For those following the path of Buddhism, this man was the embodiment of a perilous obstacle. Buddhism teaches us that attachment and a lack of contentment are sources of suffering. In the quest for spiritual growth and enlightenment, it is essential to steer clear of individuals who are driven solely by material desires, for they can act as heavy anchors, preventing our own progress towards inner peace and spiritual fulfillment. In a town not far away, where colorful prayer flags fluttered in the gentle breeze, there lived another individual, their heart consumed by the noxious flames of hatred and resentment. This person was a veritable cauldron of negativity, and their malevolent energy radiated outwards like a noxious miasma, causing pain and suffering to anyone unfortunate enough to cross their path. Such individuals stood as stark opposition to the compassionate love that Buddhism encourages for all beings. In the teachings of the Buddha, love and compassion are held as pillars of the path to enlightenment. The negative energy exuded by this individual, full of hatred and resentment, acted as a poison to the hearts of those they encountered. To maintain a tranquil environment that nurtured the practice and contributed to the greater well-being of all, it was essential to distance oneself from those who promoted negativity and hatred. To uphold the principles of Buddhism meant to avoid such individuals, and instead seek the company of those who radiated love and compassion. In the lofty solitude of a serene monastery, perched atop a mountain peak where the chants of devoted monks echoed through the valleys, there was a monk, a member of the holy order. Yet, there was a curious indifference that enveloped him when it came to the profound teachings of the Buddha. Despite having access to a wealth of spiritual knowledge, this monk seemed blissfully unaware, lacking motivation to learn, grow, and deepen his spiritual understanding. In the practice of Buddhism, spiritual growth and enlightenment are the ultimate goals. Yet, for the seekers of wisdom, associating with those who remain indifferent to the profound teachings of the Buddha can prove to be an impediment. To embark on a spiritual journey, it is imperative to seek out those who are enthusiastic about deepening their understanding and practice, for it is they who can inspire and guide us on the path. In the heart of a bustling city, where ancient temples coexisted with modern structures, there was a woman whose heart was tainted with jealousy and envy. While the accomplishments and successes of others should have been a source of joy, she could not help but feel a constant gnawing resentment. Her heart was a reservoir of jealousy, a stark contrast to the teachings of Buddhism that called for the cultivation of joy and equanimity towards others. Buddhism encourages practitioners to transcend the shackles of jealousy and envy, for these emotions are detrimental to inner peace and the path to enlightenment. Thus, it becomes a sacred imperative to avoid individuals like her, perpetually drowning in envy. Instead, we must strive to foster a compassionate heart that celebrates the achievements of others, embracing their success as part of the interconnected whole. In a quaint village adorned with golden prayer wheels that spun gracefully in the gentle breeze, there was a man whose words were as deceptive as they were dishonest. His every conversation was an intricate web of lies and deceit, each interaction designed to manipulate situations and deceive others for personal gain. Buddhism places honesty at its core, a foundational virtue upon which the entire practice is built. Associating with those who lack integrity and honesty can tarnish our own moral compass and lead us astray. Honesty and virtuous conduct are the cornerstones of a righteous path. By surrounding ourselves with individuals who uphold these values, we foster an environment of trust and authenticity, thereby allowing our own spiritual journey to flourish without the shadows of deceit. In a peaceful temple nestled amidst fragrant gardens and lotus ponds, there was a woman who had succumbed to the shackles of attachment. Her happiness was inextricably linked to worldly possessions and relationships. She believed that contentment solely relied on external factors, and her life revolved around the never-ending pursuit of these ephemeral desires. Buddhism, in its profound wisdom, teaches us to detach ourselves from material desires and cultivate inner contentment. Attachments, whether to possessions or relationships, are sources of suffering. They lead us away from the path of inner peace. Therefore, it is of paramount importance to avoid individuals deeply entrenched in such attachments, for their influence can inadvertently lead us towards suffering. Instead, we should choose to associate with those who embody non-attachment and contentment, individuals who lead us towards a deeper sense of peace and freedom within ourselves. In a serene mountain monastery where the fragrance of incense permeated the air, there was a monk whose ego consumed him. He was self-centered and consistently sought validation and recognition from others, perpetually inflating his own sense of self-importance. Buddhism, with its teachings of selflessness and humility, stands in stark contrast to the perils of an inflated ego. Associating with individuals who inflate their egos can be a perilous endeavor, as it can act as a hindrance to our own spiritual growth. To walk the path of Buddhism means to let go of the ego, to replace self-centeredness with compassion. Therefore, it becomes vital to surround ourselves with humble and compassionate beings who cultivate an environment nurturing our spiritual development without the distraction of excessive self-importance. In a bustling marketplace, where the aroma of spices filled the air, there was a person known for their manipulative tactics. They would deceive others and exploit their vulnerabilities for personal gain. Buddhism, with its emphasis on ethical conduct, guides us towards respecting the freedom and dignity of all beings. Associating with manipulative individuals can lead us astray from the path of righteousness and harm others in the process. In this spiritual journey, where compassion and ethical behavior are our guides, we must avoid the manipulative and instead seek out those who honor the values of honesty and integrity. In a small village where ancient wisdom was deeply revered, there was an individual who held rigid beliefs, firmly resisting any opportunity to embrace new ideas and perspectives. Buddhism, on the other hand, encourages us to have an open mind, to question, and to constantly seek truth. Associating with closed-minded individuals can hinder our own growth and limit our understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. In the quest for enlightenment, it is crucial to foster an environment that nurtures intellectual exploration, embracing the diversity of perspectives that the world offers. As we conclude this profound Buddhist story, let us reflect upon the importance of surrounding ourselves with positive influences on our spiritual journey. By avoiding these 7 types of individuals, the greedy, the hateful, the ignorant, the jealous, the dishonest, the attached, the egoistic, the manipulative, and the closed-minded, we can strive towards inner peace and spiritual enlightenment. The company we keep has a profound impact on our lives and our spiritual growth. Therefore, it is paramount that we choose our associations wisely. May this story serve as a reminder to examine the nature of our connections and cultivate relationships that inspire and uplift us along the path of Buddhism.